Hey there, everybody. Hey, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. As always, I'm your host, Van Ebert. And as you can see, things look a little different around here, okay? But that's just because I am in progress right here trying to get a new Movies Merica studio constructed here. So pardon our progress, as you see a lot of times. You always see those pardon our progress signs around when you see all the construction that you hate, right? You're like driving around, you're like, oh God, this construction, it's been going on for so long. How long have they been working on this, honey? About what, 8 years? What the hell, But you love the new road that it provides after it's done, but you hate the construction there. And hopefully you're not feeling that hate towards me as I try to construct a new Movies Merica, again, studio, since I did a interstate move, so I have to come up with something new here. So it won't just be this bland wall behind me here. I know it looks blank, like my thought process much of the time. But yeah, so we are going to get into some Final Destination Bloodlines here. But first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
Outstanding, everybody, outstanding. So yeah, the show is sort of look a little bit more like normal, slowly but surely, because as you may recall, last Sunday's show was very, very bare bones, okay? It's just picture like if, Hezekiah from the Amish country did my show. It'd be very bare bones, right? It's no frills, no thrills, just basic, nothing garish. It's very Amish, very basic, very humble, okay? I'm surprised I didn't do any butter churning on that show or any barn raising, but no, I did not. So, but we're slowly but surely getting back into what it normally looks like. Now, it won't look like the studio I had down in Texas. It won't look like that. It'll be completely something different here. But anyway, I know it's fascinating hearing all about, how the sausage is made and that kind of thing. But forget about all that. We're here to talk about some Final Destination Bloodlines, okay? And, for that, I want to welcome my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. You guys know who you are out there, okay? You guys tuning into this show faithfully, religiously, maniacally a little bit sometimes and whatnot. I mean, come on, it's tone it down a little bit. You're scaring the law enforcement authorities. Okay, there we go. Pretty soon they're gonna be thinking, hey, all these movie maniacs are gonna start like some compound over by Waco or something like that pretty soon here. So, but yeah, the craziness. If it was up to me, I'd say get as crazy as you want. But anyway, but I digress right there. But yeah, let's get into some movies there with in the form of Final Destination Bloodlines. And as we all know, if you've seen a Final Destination movie here, real quick, it just popped into my head. I want to acknowledge that my buddy Beyond Formal is in the live chat here, and I'm definitely glad you're in the live chat right there. Welcome. And he also is, he's unaware of this, but he's reminding me to remind you that yes, we do have live chat open and ready for your live chatting pleasure here on Rumble and YouTube, and that gives us a mode of communicating back and forth during this show right here. So you can live chat with me about Final Destination, Bloodlines, or any Final Destination movie, any horror movie, any movie that you want, anything you want, okay? there, you absolutely can live chat with me about that. Or you can do like what live chatters sometimes do on shows. They try to distract the host from the topic, what they're talking about there, and they start talking about hot chicks, or something, raunchy and spicy in the live chat. And it gets the host like, what are they talking about over there? Oh my God. It gets you all distracted. So we'll see if we get some more live chatters here in the show and try to throw me off my game here, as if I have any game there in the first place. All right. But as I was saying, the Final Destination movies, they take what are in real life like ghastly, tragic, deadly accidents, whose headlines are morbidly fascinating, and parlays them into movies that feature them as like the building blocks of their plots, right? The bricks that are the plot house of the Final Destination movies. And they're just the main magnets for moviegoers to these Final Destination movies. Okay, so, when you're driving along the road and you just see like police cars everywhere and an ambulance and a couple of fire trucks, and you just see a couple of like just gnarled up cars. They're just, it's just a pile of just scrunched up metal and glass all over the road. And there's that part of you, right? There's that part of you that can't help that morbid fascination that causes you, where you can't help but like look over there like, I wonder if I'm going to see a dismembered arm or some guts or some gore, some ghastly, like is somebody's head going to be sitting on the road? Like, oh my God, it's disgusting, but I can't look away. It's that morbid, ghastly, gruesome fascination. And in real life, we're like, oh, that's terrible. When you see a news report on the local news, you read about it in the paper or on the website or something like that, and you're like, honey, come here. Oh, it's just so sad. Oh, you're going to cry when you see this article over here. Oh, it's so sad over here. Oh, God, 16 people died, and there's this big road accident involving this log truck, and this log fell off, and first it took off this cop, and then it took out all these other cars, and all these people died. It's very, very sad. Very, very sad, And so that's the way it is like in real life. We're like, oh, that's tragic. But Final Destination was like, screw all that. All right, screw all that. Okay, we're going to use that to amuse you. Okay, we're going to take other people's gory deaths, their pain, and we are going to make that the main magnet to draw you in to our Final Destination movies right there. And I think it's fun thinking about the writers of these movies. They're just sending their hamster wheels that they have in their brains into turbo mode. Just the hamster wheel spin, just trying to think of like imaginative, elaborate ways to kill off unfortunate characters. Okay, so now I was picturing like the writers, they'd be in this boardroom, in this studio, like Universal Studios or Paramount Pictures. They'd be in this room around this board, this big table in a boardroom. They're all thinking of like these elaborate, jacked up ways to kill people off. Like they'd be sitting there and, hey, Stan, you got anything over there? No, as usual, you're completely useless. Okay, hey, Becky, what do you got over there? Becky, what do you got here?
Okay. Check this out. Okay, so a waiter knocks over a tomato sauce can with his serving tray, and then the can rolls into an open bottle of vegetable oil that spills on the kitchen floor, where a cook slips on the oil. He just goes slippy on the oil, and he loses grip on a spatula that flies across the kitchen and hits a sous chef in the head while he's gripping a big bag of beans on a high shelf, sending him face first into a deep fryer. Ugh! And then get this, everybody. And then the heavy, big bag of beans falls on the back of his head, trapping his head into sizzling hot deep fryer, obviously killing him. What do you think? Does that sound good?
I mean, just and everyone's just like, you've done it again there, Becky. You've done it again. All right, you've got that right there. You've hit the mark right there. You've done it. Okay. All right. So Oliver Stone and David Koepp and like all these grand writers. They don't have anything on you, Becky. All right. Can they write great stuff like that? Like some dude, getting trapped face first into a deep fryer and getting, Kentucky Fried, like they can't write that kind of stuff. Like, no, they can't. So, I mean, it's just kind of fun just picturing sitting around a table, a bunch of people sitting around a table thinking of stuff like that. It's like a written version of building something out of Legos, right? But that kills somebody, right? That's what I'm talking about. So it's fun. It's a good time. I mean, let other people's pain make you, provide you a pleasurable experience right there. Absolutely. And hey, we got Beyond the Lawn here up in the chat here in a deep fryer. Yep, I'm afraid so, man. I'm afraid so. I don't think we've seen that in a Final Destination movie quite yet. So that's why I should be a writer. I should be a writer on these Final Destination movies because I've got a very sick, depraved imagination. And so I think I would be a crucial cog in the Final Destination wheel when it comes to, it comes time to think of new and inventive ways to do away with unfortunate characters right there. And as we know in these Final Destination movies, I guess not all the characters are unfortunate. I think what was it the Final Destination, that one where some racist. Let's try that again. Some racist is burning a cross in some black guy's front yard or something like that, and then he gets tangled up in some cable that's connected to a tow truck, and he starts burning. I can't remember how exactly the situation is, but he catches on fire and he gets dragged down the road by this tow truck or something like that. So that's not unfortunate that a scumbag like that got killed in the movie. And then also you got situations where it's like a bunch of like shallow teens meet their demise too, like those two bimbos in Final Destination 3, who got charbroiled in the tanning bed, stuff like that. You're like, it's still gross, it's still tragic, but you're like, yeah, but these are a couple of bubble-headed blondes or whatever. So there you go. Beyond Formal says, you should be a writer in general. Yeah, there we go. Exactly. I could not agree more there, right there. I appreciate the kind words. So I've done that thing where I've written like a thing here and a thing there and a thing there, but never really put it all together, and done anything of merit or anything momentous with my writing right there. So, but I kind of do that for this show right here, where I'll try to come up with some talking points for the show and that kind of thing. But yeah, I like to have fun with words. That's what I'm talking about over here. All right. Okay. So, hey, let me take this opportunity here to ask you if you would, like most shows do. Okay, we're all in the same game. We're all trying to get clicks on our like button. And so it's that time, people. Y'all ready for this? All right. This is where I tell you or ask you very, very nicely, pretty please with sugar on top, if you would click that like button down there, all right? And then while you're clicking on buttons down there, which I shall remind you costs you absolutely nothing, click that follow button down there if you haven't already. Now, if you already have, don't click it again, because then you'll unfollow me. We wouldn't want that, would we? No. And then only, again, if you haven't already, click the notification bell down there, all right? It's down there calling your name. So click that notification bell, and you're going to get notified whenever there's a brand new, piping hot, fresh episode of Movies Merica just for your viewing pleasure, okay? And then, hey, for all of you that are watching this show later on, all right, you couldn't watch me live, you had something else going on. Hey, maybe you were making something in a deep fryer. Okay, maybe you were making the hush puppies, or maybe remember fried ice cream. Ever had fried ice cream? I've had fried ice cream. I used to make fried ice cream. Okay, I used to work at a Mexican restaurant, and we made fried ice cream there. And it's basically all this, like, it's just a frozen ball of vanilla ice cream with like graham cracker crust on it or something like that, crunched up graham cracker crust on it, and then you just dip it in a deep fat fryer, for a second or two, and then you pull it out, and it's fried ice cream, right? And so maybe you were doing that, and you were too busy doing that, and you couldn't watch the show live. Well, hey, good news. Get ready to be happy. We can still communicate with each other, and that is going to be done via the comments section down below. It's down below here where you're watching the show, the comments section. And yeah, let me know. Hey, really, what I'm looking for here, if I'm going to be honest here, is I'm looking for feedback about what do you think of the show, okay? And don't treat me with kid gloves. Don't be afraid to be brutally honest, okay? I like constructive criticism, okay? So yeah, let me know. Hey, Van, you could do this better, or here's some suggestions that you could do, some tips or something like that. All right, so there you go. Give me some tips. All right, or hey, if you want to shower me with praise, I will never turn that down right there. All right, if you just want to just butter me up, all right, that'd be just fine right there. That is what I'm talking about up in here, up in Movies America. There. All right, so. Let's check out here, see if we got in the live chat, and I want to make sure I haven't left anybody out here. I want to take care of a little housekeeping here. Let's do that and do that. And there we go. All right. So got to cross my T's, dot my I's, and get all my ducks in a row all up in here. All right. And now if you've seen Final Destination Bloodlines, okay, you know that there's great song selections in the retro opening scene that's set in 1968. Okay, it's a flashback to a more innocent time. Okay, so or at least a time that's different from where we live now, right? Okay, it's like not that there wasn't problems in 1968, but it seems kind of more innocent and just a more pure time back then. Okay, so and we're in the city, and this city is kind of a nondescript city, right? You couldn't tell what town we were in. Like, are we in Cleveland, Ohio, or Vancouver, Canada, or where are we at? So, but it's a scene, the opening scene where they got the big sky view restaurant, the big Space Needle looking thing that's hundreds of feet up in the air, right? And you see Iris, young Iris, and her boyfriend Paul, and he's doing what a good boyfriend should do, right? He's bringing his girl to a nice romantic date. He pulled some strings. He has some connections to try to get his beloved girlfriend and him a reservation at the opening night of this Skyview Tower restaurant thing, right? Whatever it's called. And they show up, and you've got the classic song Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash playing on a little transistor radio there where the valets are parking cars. And it's just everyone's having a good time. It's a good vibe. Everyone's all excited. Like, hey, it's a big Skyview restaurant. Everything's full of promise and positivity, and we're gonna have this cool restaurant up there. And look at this invention, this thing that we've constructed here. It's so cool in our town, no less, right there. And so yeah, just the Ring of Fire song really is apropos to the scene right there, because if you've seen the trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines, you know that the round restaurant, the ring up there at the top of the Skyview, it eventually does blow up and fires everywhere. So it is a ring of fire that takes place there in this particular scene. So it's kind of like a get it ring of fire there, get it. And then also later on, when Iris and Paul get up into the restaurant there after a what I think is an amusing, a hilarious, scene, leading up there, like a hilarious, like, couple minutes leading up to them getting to the restaurant. They're on the ground floor. There's this elevator. It's just packed nut to butt, balls to the wall, full of people. And you get the elevator operator, and he's like, "Hey, come on in. We can fit some more people in here. Totally fine." And Iris is understandably looking at the elevator like, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? You got like 700 people in there already. Now we'll get the next one, And the elevator operator is just a little too excited, excitedly like, "No, come on in. We can fit you in. Come on, Gee Willikers, get in here." So they get in there. I think they even add like some other people into the elevator, even after Iris and Paul there. And then of course, there's earlier in the scene, they had like the bratty kid, and he's stealing the penny out of the fountain, and the cop was like, "Hey, don't be stealing pennies out of the fountain. That's bad luck." And then of course that rotten brat ends up on the elevator with Iris and Paul, and Iris is already uneasy. She's like, "Oh my God, like this looks this." I don't know. I'm seeing things that are troubling to me, and I'm having these troublesome thoughts of these thoughts of impending doom. And then the elevator, as the elevator is ascending up to the restaurant, the elevator operator is bragging, "Hey, this tower is great. They finished it 5 months ahead of schedule. Isn't that awesome?" And Iris is understandably kind of muttering like, "Is that a good thing that they finish 5 months early? Like, what kind of shortcuts did they take, in order to finish that early right there?" And then they start cutting to like Final Destination, does. They say, "Oh, here's a bolt, and it's the bolt's coming out, and a bolt's loosening, and a wire's starting to loosen, and all these things." You see a crack in this concrete there, and then they do finally, they get up to the restaurant, and they and everyone's having a good time up there. People up there are eating and dancing. They got Shout by the Isley Brothers, playing, kind of like the toga scene in Animal House played Shout by the Isley Brothers. Well, now you got Shout by the Isley Brothers here in this opening scene from Final Destination Bloodlines. And that adds to it as well, because it really adds to the scene where the shit hits the fan, right? Where Iris has seen this premonition, and well, let me back up a little bit. So she's out on the dance floor with Paul. She's seen all these things happen, all these this chain of events. The guy, popping the champagne, the cork hits the chandelier, the piece of chandelier drops, it hits the glass floor. The glass floor starts kind of cracking. Not kind of cracking. It starts cracking, and the concrete of the tower is starting to crack as well. And next thing you know, they're singing Shout, and they're doing that part like, "A little bit quieter now, a little bit quieter now." And then they transition to "a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now, a little bit louder now." And then right when they get to that "a little bit louder now" part, then the filmmakers use that as, "Oh, this is the time to let's just collapse that glass dance floor there, and just let's get it on, right? Let's get the gory, gruesome, ghastly, tragic event going on here." And so they get that part, and yeah, the glass dance floor just shatters, and you just have bodies dropping out of that tower there. And then this is when the filmmakers transition to their next genius song choice for this scene, and that is the very apropos for this scene, "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" by BJ Thomas. Okay, and it fits because you literally just have bodies just flying down and just smashing on the ground right there by the valets, because the valets are still listening to the radio, and it's got "Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head" playing on it, and it just get boom, 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 all these bodies just dropping to their deaths, just turning into strawberry jam there. And the song fits for that. The only only thing wrong with using that song is this scene is supposed to take place in 1968. Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head didn't come out until 1969, and it was a song. It came out as part of the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid there. So, but hey, you know what? Not everybody's gonna know that, and not everybody's gonna care. Even though I know about it, I don't care. It's an apropos song for that scene right there, and it's also great to see again that bratty little shit that I was telling you about earlier, who stole the penny from the fountain. It's also great in the scene where, since he initiated the disaster, he gets pummeled by the ivories, so to speak, when that falling piano, turned him into strawberry jam. What made it extra satisfying was that little kid, that little brat, he made it to the ground, right? He got down, via the elevator or the stairs or whatever, and he made it all the way to the ground. And he was celebrating because he thought he had survived. He was like, yeah, all right, I survived. And then, whammo! All of a sudden, that piano just hits him and turns him into strawberry jelly. And it is just so satisfying. It feels so right. Okay. And that stupid brat. He reminded me of that brat from A League of Their Own. Remember that little kid? Like, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose. He's doing it. You're gonna lose. And of course, Tom Hanks throws the baseball mitt right at his face. So just that little brat just reminded me of that kid from A League of Their Own. I mean, can we all drink to that, or can we all drink to that? So, and hey, everybody, if you're drinking, go ahead and toss back whatever you are, because I'm tossing back my brew. And I'm going to be talking about this brew later on here in Brew Review Time, of course. But here we go. Good stuff. Oh, yeah. Cannot wait to tell you about that brew right there. Okay. And hey, again, let everybody know about this episode right here, okay? Don't hog all the movies, Merica, spoiler warning to yourself, okay? Go ahead and forward the link to this episode to anybody you even remotely suspects is into movies right here, especially the ones that have seen the Final Destination movies, and even more specifically, the people that have seen Final Destination Bloodlines. And I know a lot of you have seen this movie because this was the #1 movie this weekend, okay? This is an R-rated, gory horror movie. Well, I don't say horror movie. It's not scary, but it's a hard R-rated movie. And hard R-rated movies, R-rated movies have a hard time finishing #1 at a box office. They're always getting beat by PG-13 rated movies or cartoons or something like that. But this took I think 103 million worldwide at the box office in its opening weekend. I mean, that's pretty damn good for a relatively cheap movie like Final Destination Bloodlines that's R-rated. So you're already limiting your office. Let me try that again. Limiting your audience with that R rating. But it's been 14 years, since the last Final Destination movie. So maybe people were just starving. Okay, they're just like, oh God, I can't go one more minute through life without a Final Destination movie coming out. What'd you say? There's a Final Destination movie out this weekend? Oh, I'm so going, and I'm telling 50 people about it. And apparently, word of mouth got around, and a shitload of people went and saw Final Destination Bloodlines, and it finished #1 at the box office right there. So there you go, and I'm happy for it. I mean, I like the Final Destination movies, and I'm glad that it won the box office, because I'm so sick of just nothing but like sequels and prequels and requels and all those things, being the ones that win the box office there. I'm looking for some good horror movies to win the box office here. And we're also going to have another horror movie that I'm looking forward to from the directors of Talk to Me. Remember Talk to Me that came out a couple years ago? They are coming out with a new movie called Bring Her Back. And I think it comes out next week. I think not this weekend, but a week from this week here. And I can't wait for that. But while we're waiting for that movie right there, if you're looking for something to kind of take up your time while you wait right there, how about a little brew review time to take up your time? Here we go. All right, kiddies. All right, let me introduce you to this episode's brew for the brew review time. And this is an old familiar friend that I always try to make an excuse for reviewing because it gives me an excuse to drink it again, all right? And that is New Holland Brewing's Crimson Keep, or basically, more specifically, the Dragon's Milk Crimson Keep, okay? And it's from New Holland Brewing out of New Holland, Michigan, all right? And this is a fantastic brew. I'm not even going to keep you in suspense. I love this beer. That's why I've reviewed it a couple times. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, all right, and let you know that, yes, I have reviewed this before, but just because I love it so. Okay, I love it. It's so awesome. And this stuff right here, this bad boy, it's aged in bourbon barrels for at least 1 month deep within the Dragon's Milk cellar. Okay, so I guess I have a Dragon's Milk cellar at New Holland Brewing here, and you can definitely tell it is sitting there in these bourbon barrels and just soaking all that bourbon goodness here. And New Holland Brewing, they make bourbon as well, and so they've got bourbon barrels available to let this stuff ferment in those barrels there. And also, it doesn't just have the bourbon flavor. It's got notes of toffee and some stone fruits, and it's got like it's like an oaky flavor to it as well. Some oak to it, and yeah, you just get that bourbon nose to that right there. So hell, even if you didn't drink it, you just smelled it. You've just got that nose in there. That's a pleasurable experience right there. But I'd say it's a damn tragedy, if you smell this, if you get that nose and you don't drink it right there. And this is a beer with some heft to it. This is 11. It's got 11% alcohol by volume here, so it's got a little bit of heft for a beer. Okay, most beers are well below 11% alcohol by volume there. And like I said, this is Dragon's Milk Crimson Keep, and there's a whole Dragon's Milk line of beers. Okay, like they've got a Dragon's Milk Tales of Gold, Dragon's Milk Coffee Chocolate, and again, they're all from New Holland Brewing in New Holland, Michigan. And I'm not getting any money from New Holland Brewing at all. Okay, so it's a completely objective opinion here, straight, just completely above board. All right, if this tasted like crap, I would tell you, okay, that it tasted like crap. Believe me, all right? So, but, hey, since it doesn't taste like crap, let me take a tug off this bad boy. Excellent. So yeah, check that out. I think it's got kind of a cool label right there. So Dragon's Milk Crimson Keep, bourbon barrel aged red ale right there, as you see. Very nice, out of New Holland, Michigan. And check out like their New Holland Brewing website there. You'll see they make all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg right here. Okay, but with that has been brew review time. All right, let's check things out over here, see what we got going on. Make sure we are on the up and up right here because, excuse me, I try to run a tight ship up in this biatch. Okay, there we go. And let's do this. I knew that there's something I wanted to show you here. That, of course, is the fact that we have merch. Yes, we have Movies Merica merch just for you, all right? And as you see, at least one of the items that we have there for the Movies Merica merch is a Movies Merica t-shirt right down there at the bottom right. And But if you go and you click on the merch link down in the description, you're going to see that we have a lot more than just t-shirts. Okay, we have Movies Merica phone cases, shot glasses, yoga pants. You've got jewelry, all kinds of great merch there that you can show off and impress your friends and family with. Okay, like get your grandma, Movies Merica t-shirt, get your Uncle Freddie, Movies Merica flask, and maybe if you have a hot girlfriend and she's like in yoga shape, get your hot girlfriend, get your sweet girlfriend a pair of Movies Merica yoga pants, all right, with Movies Merica and blazing right on the ass cheeks right there. Okay, there you go. Who said romance was dead? Right there you go. Okay, so just as long as you don't get her a washing machine or a blender or, God forbid, don't get her any exercise equipment. Not at all. So, but yeah, who doesn't love some good yoga pants right there if you're in the shape for it? All right, so. All right, you got to be in the right shape for it. There you go. But yeah, as I said before, the link for the merch is down in the description right there, and we're making it very easy for you. And now I know the overlay says promo code whiskey. That's wrong. Put in promo code movies, okay? And you are going to get free shipping on the Movies Merica merch that you buy right there. Okay, so it's such a sweet deal. It's so sweet. It's so choice. It's top of the line right there. So get yourself some sweet, sweet merch right there. Check it out, everybody. All right, so do that. And you know what? Hey, do we have any holidays coming up here? We got, I guess, Memorial Day, but I don't think you can get the Movies Merica merch in time for Memorial Day. And I don't know how many people give each other gifts for Memorial Day, but you could start the trend, but I think we're a little too close to Memorial Day. But hey, we got 4th of July coming up here, and Father's Day is coming up here pretty soon. And yeah, get dear old dad some Movies Merica merch right there, and yeah, make your dad look prestigious and sophisticated with some Movies Merica merch right there. Okay, so all right, let's do this here. I want to check something out. I want to show you guys something here about basically not just Final Destination Bloodlines, but really Final Destination, like all the Final Destination movies, right? So just like the there we go. Check this out. Yeah. So this article from Letterboxd isn't just about Final Destination Bloodlines. This is about the whole Final Destination cinematic universe of sorts right there. And I like this article here because it just talks about the best kills, according to Letterboxd, in the Final Destination series right there. And yeah, like they say, it's delightfully gory right there. But before we get too much into this article, before we do a deep dive on it, let me take another tug off my Dragon's Milk over here. All right. And again, hey, you know what? If you got if you're drinking on something, you got some sweet tea, or you got some tequila, or you got a Cosmo, or whatever you're drinking, hey, toss it back here because yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when you watch this show is relax, okay? And I know I like to relax with a brewski or a cocktail, all that stuff right here. So, as we see right here, it says with the Final Destination series turning 25 this year and the arrival of Final Destination Bloodlines, Matt Goldberg speaks to filmmaker James Wong and looks at the best deaths in a horror series that recognizes the Grim Reaper as the greatest slasher of all times. And James Wong, he was the director of the first Final Destination and then the third one, I believe, there. So, all right. So right here we got so let's get into this article right here. It starts out with, we've all felt it at one point or another, the creeping sensation of nervous dread that everything in a mundane situation could go wrong and spell our doom. Maybe we feel it when boarding an airplane, or perhaps it lingers in the pit of our stomachs as we step onto a roller coaster. The thrill of the Final Destination series is saying, you're right to feel these things. But even if you manage to escape, death will still come for you. putting the grim into Grim Reaper. The long-running saga takes those who have had a near-death experience and makes them suffer by thwarting death's design. The movies follow a formula. Our protagonist gets a glimpse of a grisly accident that claims the lives of all the characters. After raising the alarm, they are able to get to safety along with a handful of other characters before the disaster strikes. For the remainder of the film, death picks off the survivors with elaborate Rube Goldberg-like traps, or shockingly slaughters the victim when they least expect it. Our characters race to see if they can perhaps escape the Reaper again, but more often than not, death proves inevitable. While other horror slashers have to follow rules, like Freddy Krueger's Place in Dreams, or Jason Voorhees being somewhat held by the boundaries of time and space, Final Destination leans into an omniscient, omnipotent killer. Anything that needs to leak, spark, or break will do so like a real-time manifestation of Murphy's Law. The slasher villain is already overpowered, and Final Destination simply took the next step by removing any guardrails and letting the world itself act as a killer. As silly as the series can be, it quickly discovered a clear identity that encouraged viewers to wonder what death had in store for its victims. To celebrate 25 years of Final Destination and the release of its latest entry, Final Destination Bloodlines, we've rounded up the most memorable deaths of the series so far. So this is from Final Destination 2000. If you want to see a kill that sets the tone for the entire Final Destination series, you have to look at the death of the teen's teacher, Valerie Luton, Kristen Cloak. Although there's a Rube Goldberg-like death earlier in the movie when Todd, Chad Dinella, gets strangled in the shower, the Miss Luton scene is better at amping up the ridiculousness and also understanding the darkly comic beats that would become one of the series' trademarks. Luton not only gets hit with an exploding computer, because as we all know, a small spark from a short circuit will make your monitor shoot glass at you. But as she is already bleeding out, a kitchen knife impales her, and then a chair falls on it to plunge the blade even further for good measure. The movie does spice things up with some sudden kills like Terry, Amanda Detmer, getting hit by the bus, back when audiences didn't always expect that to happen when a character walks into an open street, and Billy, Sean William Scott, getting decapitated, but the Luton kill is a primary example of what sets Final Destination apart from other horror franchises. Speaking on the film's 25th anniversary, director and co-writer James Wong explains that they wanted to use the Todd kill as its own kind of fake-out from Miss Luton, leading the audience to believe that she would also die in a single location, and instead they would keep upping the ante. I remember the moment when the knife block falls on her, and we thought, that's pretty cool, but it wasn't enough, he tells me. Okay, then the oven explodes and the knife plunges deeper into her body. We started to challenge ourselves. What's the next step? What's another way we could add to the horror and add to the fun of it? Because it becomes a little absurd with the Luton kill, and it's our way of winking at the audience. So they're kind of talking about like what I talked about before, where you get these writers and they get to have fun by thinking of these elaborate and intricate ways of people dying. I kind of like concocting or constructing this Lego creation, this Lego building or Lego whatever. But a Lego creation that kills people there. Let's see here. All right. As Letterboxd member Taylor wisely observes about the first installment, they figured out a cinematic language for this character is 100% gonna die in this scene. I'm sorry. Will it be this that kills him? Maybe this or this, taunting us beyond reason, which is, of course, no stranger to slasher flick structure, but is handled so head-on in these movies. It's unprecedented. Absolutely. And then we have Final Destination 2 that came out in 2003. They saved the best kill for first in the sequel. There's no shortage of incredible deaths in David R. Ellis's follow-up, from the barbed wire vivisection to the death by fire escape ladder to the smushed by glass plate payoff after nearly suffocation in a dentist's office. But for a series in which every inciting incident features a major catastrophe, none of the 5 movies tops the traffic massacre. Not only does Ellis do a superb job of building tension, but once the big log goes through poor Officer Burke's windshield, skull, and then out the back window, we're off to the races. It's also the kill that resonates because car accidents are sadly common in America, and every driver has to constantly think about what could go wrong in order to map out safe routes. For a set piece that doesn't have the flash of an amusement park or a racetrack, the freeway carnage isn't just the best kill in Final Destination 2, but the whole series. Everyone who's seen it is now hardwired to instinctually change lanes when driving behind a logging truck. Heather sums up my feelings perfectly when she says, "This did for logging trucks what Jaws did for the ocean," with Josh noting that the opening highway car crash sequence is a legit great piece of controlled chaos filmmaking, and whatever the writing quality of these, the Rube Goldberg death sequencing concept is just too good. It never fails to deliver a fun, visceral shock every few minutes. Even though he didn't direct the sequence, Wong cites it as his favorite in the franchise. "I still can't get on the highway and follow a logging truck," he says. Pudini asks the question we're all left wondering by the time the sequence wraps. Do you think that logging companies show this to their truckers? Yeah, you gotta love it. Right there. So, and now we're on to Final Destination 3 from 2006. Now, James Wong returns here, as does a desire to kill shallow teens rather than people from all walks of life, like in Final Destination 2. The opening catastrophe with the roller coaster is well-meaning, but relies a little too heavily on VFX that haven't aged particularly well. That hasn't stopped us from obsessively rewatching this entry. Out of all films in the series, this is the one that most Letterboxd members have logged at least 5 or more times. The Power of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yes. So you might know Mary Elizabeth Winstead also from her in Live Free or Die Hard, where she played Lucy McLean to Bruce Willis's John McClane in the, I guess it'd be the 4th Die Hard movie right there as my eyes get all dried out there. All right. Later on, there are some strong contenders for the best kill, with the tanning bed deaths, as well as the skeevy guy taking a spinning engine block to the back of the noggin. But for me, I get the biggest laughs out of the way that selfish jock. Let me try that again. But for me, I get the biggest laughs out of the way that selfish jock Lewis, Texas Battle, exits the movie. Wong and editor Chris G. Willingham slyly speed up the cuts in the gym sequence to build to their crescendo, and then provide a bunch of fake outs to what exactly will take out Lewis. Naturally, it's the silliest thing that does it when a pair of decorative swords on the walls are somehow sharp enough to slice through the cables on a weightlifting machine, leading to heavy blocks smashing Lewis's head apart. I'm the outlier here, but as plenty of Letterboxd members prefer the tanning bed deaths, especially the way Wong transitioned from tanning beds to coffins. The shot transition from the 2 flaming tanning beds to 2 matching coffins is peak cinema, and I'm not even joking, says Sam. As for the sequence itself, it's the main kill that left viewers scarred, with Aaron speaking for several members by saying, "I have never even stepped foot into a tanning salon strictly because of this movie." Wong says he always had the tanning bed transition shot in mind because of the logistics required in capturing it. We had to extend the walls in the tanning room in order to get the camera in the right place to match the image size of the coffins, he explains. So that was all planned out in the prep stage so we could make that transition. And then we're on to Final Destination 2009. The best kill in fourth installment, The Final Destination, marks a rare exception for the franchise because it's not the manner of the kill that's marvelous, but who the kill is happening to. It takes time to literally drag a racist. That's not me trying to know what's in someone's heart. That's literally how the film credits Justin Wellborn's character, racist. In the process of trying to burn a cross on the front lawn belonging to George, Michael T. Williamson, who played Bubba in Forrest Gump, Racist gets tangled in the mechanism of his tow truck, set on fire, and dragged down the street. The movie never tops this moment. The Final Destination remains the worst reviewed entry in the series. It sits at a lowly 2.1 average among Letterboxd members. One would expect better, considering Ellis returned to direct this installment, but you can see his knowledge of practical effects wasted in a movie that leaned heavily on 3D gimmicks and bad CGI. The compositing is an eyesore, and while it's possible that it looks better when viewed in the intended 3D format, I somehow doubt it, given how cheap everything appears to be. Lee sums it up best in the review by saying the pro is that the racist dies first, and the cons are everything else. And then we have Final Destination 5 from 2011. Thankfully, the series bounced back with Final Destination 5 and director Stephen Qualley leaning into the dark comedy of the whole premise. By this point, no one was going to a Final Destination movie for the scares. They were going for the macabre laughs, and Qualley beats the audience where they are. The film throws in reliable comic actors like David Koechner and P.J. Byrne, and then gets aggressively silly. For me, the best kill involves the acupuncture treatment, not only because it gets the benefit of some fake-outs, but similar to the death of Racist in the Final Destination, we're rooting for Byrne's obnoxious Isaac to shed his mortal coil. Joshua also appreciates the acupuncture death, but it's part of a larger string of kills. The gymnastic death, sorry about the beer burp there. So the gymnastic death, acupuncture death, and the laser eye surgery death could be the best 3-death run in this or any franchise, he writes. They were so well crafted while also being realistic enough to absolutely ruin childhoods. But more than the particular deaths, what Letterboxd members really enjoy is the film's surprising ending, which I won't spoil since they're right on how well it delivers. I'll simply say that if you've managed to avoid finding out what happens, and hey, it's been 14 years since this came out, so enough time has passed for people to be surprised, then you should enjoy a little binge watch of this series. And then finally, we've made it to the subject of this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. Final Destination Bloodlines. After a 14-year After a 14-year absence, Final Destination returns with full awareness of what audiences are looking for from the series. Just as Final Destination 5 knows the series is more dark comedy than horror now, Bloodlines takes the torch and carries it to set everyone on fire. Working from a bigger canvas that builds a story across 2 time periods, 1968 and the present day, there's a serious challenge in picking only one kill as the best in the movie. A strong argument can be made that the honor belongs to Eric, Richard Harmon, getting eaten by an MRI machine that first rips out all of his piercings before crushing him to death. But for me, I feel like you've got to go with the most cartoonish of kills, dropping a piano on a bratting child, like I was talking about earlier there. The whole opening Sky Tower sequence is fantastic, feeling like directors Zach Lipovsky and Adam B. Stein saw the unforgettable traffic collision from Final Destination 2 as a challenge they needed to rise to. I get it, rise to Sky Beauty. Get it. Thankfully, they constructed the best opener since then, as the towering restaurant Skyview, like the highway accident, offers no shortage of ways to eliminate its victims. At the same time, you also have to appreciate its entire construction. The whole incident kicks off because this petulant kid wouldn't stop dropping pennies off the tower. He keeps dodging the consequences while people around him perish, and then when he thinks he's made it to safety, a grand piano squishes him. It's a surprisingly satisfying moment that also tells the audience that no one will be safe from the goofy kills in this movie. As Mariana notes, I don't think I've ever heard the audience cheer for a kid's death, and I know this sounds horrible, but it was appropriate. Okay. The Final Destination movies are not towering works of cinema, but they carved out a nice little niche in a crowded genre while remaining playful. Despite the gory deaths, Final Destination never veered into the alleged torture porn craze ignited by the Saw movies. And the filmmakers who came on board quickly recognized the comic appeal of elaborate deaths and the audience psych-outs. With each film only running around 90 minutes a pop, a Final Destination movie never overstays its welcome. They quickly get to the kills, work to make them inventive and memorable, and then they roll credits. In Final Destination, death doesn't take a holiday, it works overtime. And speaking to the series' enduring appeal, Wong says we've all had close calls. There's always a moment of, ooh, I could have died in this accident, or weird thing that happened. How did I get to this place where this could happen? And secondly, how did I escape it? How did it not kill me? We're all born with this time clock on us, and the only thing we can really count on is death. So I just thought you guys would enjoy that article right there, because I know I definitely did checking that out earlier right there. And so in celebration to that article, I'm going to toast to it right now. Here's to that article. I kind of have to toast right there. All right, there we go. We are moving on here in the episode, everybody. Okay, so, and again, let me know in the live chat what you thought of that article. And let me know, hey, do you guys like me, bringing up articles like that and reading the entire thing? Or, are you like, hey, Van, it just gets dull, it gets boring if you're just reading an entire article. It makes me want to leave the show, stuff like that. So, and then also, if you're watching this show later on, you're not watching live, let me know that also in the comments if you would, all right there. Because, yeah, if I'm doing things in this show that bore the hell out of you, I'm going to stop doing them, all right? I could take criticism, absolutely, okay? Okay, here. So let me tell you guys real quick here, because I do not want to leave our great sponsor of this show, Flip City Magazine, out in the cold, all right? I don't want them to, I don't want death to take them without me mentioning how awesome it is that they sponsor the show. But like I mentioned before, the sponsor is Flip City Magazine. And Flip City Magazine, you may be asking yourself, hey, what is that, Van? Well, I shall tell you. So Flip City Magazine, quite simply, is a very funny magazine. All right, this magazine is hilarious. All right, and it's remember like Mad Magazine back in the day, and Cracked Magazine. Mad Magazine was like a powerhouse magazine, a powerhouse funny magazine for decades, right? And unfortunately, for Mad Magazine and Cracked, they've allowed themselves to get assimilated into the woke Borg, okay? But fortunately for Flip City Magazine, that has left an absence, a vacuum for Flip City to fill, and fill they have, all right? Flip City Magazine is hilarious. And I know from experience, because I've read it here, and you guys should definitely read it as well. But instead of me telling you all about it, let's hear from it, or hear about Flip City Magazine from the pros.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right. Let's get right into this real quick. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get yourself some Flip City Magazine right here. We're making it very easy for you right here. And all you got to do is go down in the description and click on the Flip City link down there. And then when you get your subscription there and you see that promo code field, just simply put in movies in the promo code field, and you are going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke magazine around, okay? Because I'm telling you, everybody, Flip City Magazine just wants to crack you up. That's it. All right? They're not trying to preach at you. They're not trying to sermonize to you or anything. They're not trying to lecture you, okay? They know that you open up their magazine to laugh your ass off, all right? Not get preached at. They realize it's a magazine, not a school. It's not Sunday school. It's not college. Not trying to get indoctrinated with anything. You just want some good jokes, some funny comics, some humorous interviews, all that stuff. And Flip City is going to give that to you in spades right there. So grab yourself some Flip City magazine with that very easy, convenient Flip City link in the description right there. Get after it, people, right there. Absolutely. So, and let me check here real quick here. I just want to do a little housekeeping right now as we get into this. And let's do that. Doing a little something over here. Doing that. I know it's fascinating as I'm going through here, but and I know a lot of people, when you guys watch the show, you guys are multitasking. Maybe you're making supper or dinner or whatever you guys call it, up and where you're at right there. Because I mean, a lot of people do that. Hardly anybody gets into a live stream, right? They don't get into a live stream and they're just staring at the show like this and watching it the whole time. You've got me hypnotized, Van, here with your show right there. And hey, man, we've got a special treat for you, everybody. We have got the Sean Cav Show rating the stream. All right, there coming in here, and it's a raid. All right, we got Mr. Poverty in here, and we got the green sirens coming in here. That green rumble siren. And he up in this show, and everybody say hi to everyone rating this show from Sean Cav right there. Good to see you guys here rating the stream. And yeah, whenever I see the word raid, I always think back to those old raid bug spray commercials, where they'd have the cartoon bugs, and the cartoon bugs would be walking around yeah, we're here in this house, we're infecting this house over here, and all of a sudden they detect something. Yeah, they're having a good time. Raid, and it would be some human spraying raid with them and spelling their demise and all that stuff right there. Yep, absolutely. I'm Sean Cav. Hello, movies, and hello, everybody. Hello, Sean Cav right there. Good to see you here joining there. And if you guys want to hear about movies, or if you're feeling patriotic, you guys joined at the right time going on right here, because we are about to get into the movie military moment, everybody. Okay, and that's the movie military moment. I guess is as good a time as ever to let you know what the movie military moment is, and that's quite simply the opportunity that I've bestowed upon myself to honor a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Right? The Congressional Medal of Honor. The medal that military members get for displaying and demonstrating great bravery, great selfless bravery that may or may not take their lives, okay? Because not all recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor, gave the ultimate sacrifice, right? Some of them did manage to make it out alive, okay? And so I just want to take a few minutes to honor a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor here today. And so right now, the question you might be asking yourself is, that's great, Van, but what does it have to do with movies? Okay. Well, allow me to explain to you what honoring a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient has to do with movies. Okay. So as you would imagine, in order to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for military heroism, you have to do something that is just something that is just spectacular to see to the eyes, right? It's just mind-blowing to see in person, right? Like you're a helicopter, pilot in Nam, right? And you're flying in supplies, and you're coming in there with supplies, and to evacuate the wounded, as you got troops on the ground and they're fighting the VC or they're fighting the NVA in Vietnam, and you're flying to the LZ, that's landing zone for all you civilians out there. You're flying to the LZ, but as you're flying into the LZ, you've got rocket fire coming to your helicopter, being being shot at your helicopter, RPG fire. You're taking small arms rounds. You're taking AK-47 rounds to your helicopter. You're like, oh my God, there's so much fire coming out of our helicopter, and your captain knows about it. So your captain is on the squawk box, going, hey, turn that chopper around. That LZ's too hot. And you, as a helicopter pilot, goes, sir, I can't do that, man. We've got supplies in the back of the helo here. I got to get them down to the troops. Otherwise, they're going to die. And we got to evacuate the wounded. And the captain's like, you get that chopper back here. That's a taxpayer's helicopter, not yours, all right? And you, as a heroic helicopter pilot, you're like, sorry, sir, I got to go in. You're disregarding orders. And you go there and you land a helicopter. And you get them the supplies, the food, the ammo, all that stuff. And then you get the wounded out. You get them loaded up on your chopper. And you're saving lives out of your selfless act right there. And all around you, explosions, RPGs flying, and gun battles and all that shit. You got planes flying overhead, and they're dropping ordnance and that kind of stuff. So if you were there live and you saw this helicopter pilot doing it, it would be a spectacular movie military moment. Okay, if you saw it on the big screen, it'd just be amazing. It'd be awesome to behold. All right, and so that's the connection to movies right there. And so with that, let's get into this movie military moment. All right, so as we get into this movie military moment, let me introduce you to our recipient for tonight, and that is Sergeant First Class Stanley Taylor Adams, who fought for America in the Korean War, okay? And we are going to get to know Sergeant First Class Adams here very, very well right here. But I think as we honor Sergeant First Class Adams, I think Sergeant First Class Adams deserves his own movie military moment music. Don't you think? Don't you agree? I would say so as well. So let's take care of that right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay homage, we honor Sergeant First Class Stanley Taylor Adams, who fought for us in the Korean War. And let's find out more about Sergeant First Class Adams, shall we? Master Sergeant Adams, Company A, distinguished himself by conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity above and beyond the call of duty in action against enemy. At approximately 0100 hours, Master Sergeant Adams' platoon, holding an outpost from 200 yards ahead of his company, came under a determined attack by an estimated 250 enemy troops. Intense small arms, machine gun, and mortar fire from three sides pressed the platoon back against the main line of resistance. Observing approximately 150 hostile troops silhouetted against the skyline, advancing against his platoon, Master Sergeant Adams leaped to his feet, urging his men to fix bayonets. And he, with 13 members of his platoon, charged his hostile force with indomitable courage. Within 50 yards of the enemy, Master Sergeant Adams was knocked to the ground and pierced in the leg by an enemy bullet. He jumped to his feet and, ignoring his wound, continued on to close with the enemy when he was knocked down 4 times with a concussion of grenades which had bounced off his body. Shouting orders, he charged, enemy positions and engage him in hand-to-hand combat where man after man fell before his terrific onslaught with bayonet and rifle butts. After nearly an hour of vicious action, Master Sergeant Adams and his comrades routed the fanatical foe, killing over 50 and forcing the remainder to withdraw. Upon receiving orders that his battalion was moving back, he provided cover fire while his men withdrew. Master Sergeant Adams' superb leadership, incredible courage, and consummate devotion to duty showed with the Spider's comrades that the enemy attack was completely thwarted, saving his battalion from possible disaster. His sustained personal bravery and indomitable fighting spirit against overwhelming odds reflect the utmost glory upon himself and uphold the finest traditions of the infantry and the military service. And we salute you, Sergeant First Class Stanley Taylor Adams, for your service. And that has been the movie Military Moment. All right. Sorry about that. My eyes all getting all dried out here, so I got to always adjust my... I should say my eyes, it's my contact lenses. They get all dried out. There we go. So we are going to blink the crap out of my contact lenses there. All right. There we go. Fascinating, I know. So there we go. But hopefully you guys enjoyed that movie Military Moment right there. And checking out the live chat right here, talking about some Ready or Not. I'm assuming that's that video game there with some military heroics of its own in the game right there. Just like the military heroics we heard about from Sergeant First Class Stanley Taylor Adams. And then they say Master Sergeant in the citation because his top rank he achieved was Master Sergeant right there. Okay, so but I always love doing that here. Always love paying homage to our military members that were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. And you don't have to wait for the movie Military Moment to check out these great stories of these heroic individuals. You can go to CMH, as in Congressional Medal of Honor, CMOHS.org. That's CMOHS.org/recipients. And you can check out the stories of these heroes yourself, all right? But with that, let's wrap up this movie Military Moment. All right, so let me just take a moment here to let you guys know that, hey, if you guys happen to be enjoying this show enough to throw a buck or two my way, well, you most certainly can do that. I will not refuse your hard-earned cash, all right? And the way you can do that is if you're checking me out through Rumble, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant. That's the tool they provide for you to throw a little money my way if you're so inclined. If you're not, don't do it. But in Rumble, in order to give me money via Rumble Rant, it's very easy. Down by where you type in your live chat, you just got to go down there, and you'll see a button with a $ on it. And when you click on that, it'll just ask you how much you want to throw my way, and that's it. Very simple, very easy. And then if you're checking me out on YouTube, you can give me what they call a super chat in that world, and that works very similarly to the way it works in Rumble. So down by where you type your live chat message right there, you just got to click on the button with a $ bill on it, and it too will ask you how much you want to throw my way. And that's it. That's it. So simple, so easy. Okay, there you go. And, like I said, if I can figure it out, you can figure it out. But again, only if you feel I've deserved it. Okay, so there you go. I don't want you to throw any money my way if you don't think that I have measured up in the way that you feel I should measure up for the show. That is for sure. But that's enough of me soliciting for your hard-earned dollars, all that right there. So enough of that there. But and we got Lindy Rig 87 here joining here in the live chat right there. Good to see you, Lindy Rig 87, and along with Mr. Poverty talking back and forth right there. I love the support going on here, and I dig it. And so if any of you guys in the live chat, let me know if you guys have ever seen any Final Destination movies, man. Let me know, like, if you can recollect, like, what's your favorite kill? Like, what's the kill that made you go, oh my God, the most? Okay, let me know what kill did that. Or, if you just want to plain let me know what's your favorite Final Destination movie. Totally cool. It's all good up in the hood. All right. So now's the time where I'll let you guys know what movie I am going to review next week there. And that would be the big movie coming out this weekend. That would be, of course, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. All right. Is this the final movie for Ethan Hunt? I don't know. We shall find out. But yes, the possible final Mission Impossible movie comes out this weekend. And so this Sunday for Movies Merica Live, I will be providing the spoiler-free review for Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning there with that Tommy Cruise guy in it, okay? And then, of course, this Thursday, a week from tonight, Movies America Spoiler Warning will be all about, guess what? Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, okay? But the Thursday show will be the one where I won't care if I spoil it or not, okay? The Sunday show is going to be spoiler-free, okay? So you can watch the show on Sunday, and you don't have to worry about anything in the Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning being spoiled whatsoever. Right there. And yeah, you got, I hear you, man. I hear you right there. So Lindy Rig 87, he still has to stay away from logging trucks there. So yeah, and that's the way it is with a lot of people there. It's I always saw like those logging trucks. I saw the chains, holding on those logs. I'm like, for as many logging trucks as that there's been out there, and and just the amount of trips with logging trucks, it's the law of averages, right? It's a numbers game. Eventually, one of those chains was gonna go, right, and you're gonna get a log flying off of a logging truck. And I don't know if there's ever been an accident like that, like what we see portrayed at the beginning of the Final Destination 2 there, that's ever happened. But even if there hasn't, hey, we've got Final Destination 2 simulating a accident, starting with with a log falling off a truck right there for us to behold, for us to observe. If you ever want to know and see what that would look like right there. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Lindy Rig. Yeah, that. And then also I'd say like tanning beds. A lot of people, they're freaked out about tanning beds from Final Destination 3, and the two bimbos getting charbroiled in the tanning beds. They are roller coasters. Same deal. Roller coasters for me, I kind of had that uneasy feeling about roller coasters, but it was from a older movie from back in the 70s called Roller Coaster. And the plot of that movie was there was a terrorist that liked to blow up roller coasters. He would like set like explosive charges on the rails of the roller coaster, and then the rail would be destroyed, and then the roller coaster's cars would fly off, and people would die. And so that's why I always was apprehensive. That was one of the reasons I was always apprehensive about roller coasters. So now I'm just like, I love roller coasters. I ride roller coasters, and I'm just like, hey, if you got to go, you got to go. When your time is up, your time is up. And man, what a way to go. Died on a roller coaster. Okay. It's a hell of a line for your obituary. That's for sure there. So, but all right, let me double check here real quick. Make sure we got everything here. And I think we're getting ready to wrap up this episode here, because I'm keeping it nice and short here tonight, because I do have some family issues that I need to take care of here, and I'm not gonna go over that there with you. But if in case you're watching the show right now live, and you watch it later on, you're like, man, this show is much shorter than it typically is. Like, what's going on here? Like, what's going on? What is he off his game? Well, that may be true. That might be the case. I might be off my game, but that's not the reason why the show is shorter here, right there. But real quick, just let me remind you that if you would follow me, on Rumble and X and Facebook and Gab, and I'm on all those platforms under @MoviesMerica. Very simple, very easy. Okay, I'm on YouTube A little harder to find me there because I'm not under Movies America on YouTube. I'm under the Till Death Podcast Network on YouTube there. But if you look up like Till Death Podcast Network or just look up Movies America in YouTube, even in YouTube, it's going to show you like at least one of my episodes coming up in the results. And then you just got to click on the episode and then you'll be able to like the episode. And then you'll be able to get to all my other past episodes. And hey, if you want to go like button crazy, okay, feel free to go ahead and do that as I get sunlight shining in my eye right here. So that's part of getting the Rumble Studio. Rumble Studio is what I use. But try to get the Movies America Studio up and running. I got to get some blackout curtains on these blinds over here to keep the sunlight hitting me. But it is kind of cool, though, because it does remind me of, remember that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark? And he's got the staff of Ra. He's got the headpiece to the staff of Ra. And Indiana Jones has got to get that staff of Ra in just the right hole in the map room, right? And he's got to put that in there. He's got to get the staff of Ra just the right height, and then get the headpiece to the staff of Ra on the top of the staff of Ra, and then the sunlight comes in and hits it there with that grand sweeping John Williams score there, and the sunlight comes in and hits the staff of Ra and points Indiana Jones to the location of the Ark of the Covenant there. And so that's what this sunlight blinding me through the window is reminding me of, is like the sun hitting that headpiece to the staff of Ra right now. Absolutely. So, but all right, let's get ready to wrap up this biatch here to this episode. But let me add something here that I completely forgot there. But if you go ahead and follow me on any of those platforms that I mentioned before, Gab, Rumble, so on and so forth, well, go ahead and DM me, direct message me on X, and in X or on X, I'm at Movies America. That's how you can find me on X. DM me there, direct message me and say, hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform, and I will follow you on all those platforms too, because you did me the solid of following me. I'm going to follow you right back there. It's only right. It is only right there. Okay. So, but all right, everybody, I hope you guys have a good night here. And yes, we'll have a better Movies America studio coming up here as I have more time to finish it all up, and it won't be so boring. I know I've got this boring wall back here. It's very dull, very bland, but that will be changed here in short order right there. Okay. But with that, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later.
Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here down below. It's right down there. It's just what. No, you cannot hear me. is waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.